Hello, and today we're reviewing the Ryobi RYi300BG 40v Inverter power source. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, starting off at the top of the tool, we have the 40V battery slot. Now, the 40V battery slot will accept any of Ryobi's 40V batteries, and overall, the batteries will slide in nice and easily. I will say that the batteries don't really feel all that secure, even once they've been properly inserted. The connection just feels very loose, and quite frankly, I would not be swinging this around because I think there's a decent chance your battery could come flying out. So as long as you're using this in a stationary position, I think you'll be fine, but I really probably wouldn't use this while walking or running, which I don't think anyone's going to do, but I'm just saying that the connections for securing the battery are just not very, well, rigid. So at the end of the day, it's still going to get a pass for the fact that everything works the way it should work, but I really think Ryobi needs to double check their dimensions, and there is a little bit of a red flag for just how loose the battery does feel. But like I said, it still works, so yeah, moving on. Okay, moving on to the carrying handle. Now, the carrying handle is located at the top of the tool, and it is a folding handle, which means you can fold it down into the body of the tool for, well, just a more low profile or for storing the tool in a tighter place, or you can use it by unfolding it and carrying it around with the carrying handle, obviously. Overall, the carrying handle is a decent quality feature. It's not going to be the best quality carrying handle. It's just a piece of plastic, and it has a little bit of flex to it, so it doesn't really inspire any sort of awe-inspiring confidence. And if you're using a massive size 40V battery, say one of those 8 amp hour 40V batteries, you might want to actually carry it by the battery. But at the end of the day, I am glad that they gave you a carrying handle, and so it does get a pass. Okay, let's talk about the power button. The power button is located on the side of the tool and is made out of a transparent plastic. Overall, the plastic is a decent quality plastic. It feels a little bit cheap, but it doesn't feel absolutely horrible, so it still gets kind of a pass. You press it once in order to turn on the tool, and then you press and hold for around 2 seconds to turn off the tool. When the tool is on, the button will turn green and will remain green until it starts to flash a orangish yellow color, which means that your battery has been almost depleted. If you encounter any sorts of errors, there are 2 additional colors which will tell you what the error means. A flashing red light means that the tool has been overheated and you should leave the battery on to allow the fans to continue to function and to cool the tool down. And then a solid red light means that the tool has been overloaded, and this typically happens if you plug something in that tries to draw too much power. Overall, this is a perfectly acceptable performance, and it is a better performance than what you'll find with the 18-volt power inverter. So overall, the power button gets a pass here. And next up, we have the LED light power button as well as the LED light itself. Overall, the LED light really isn't all that bright, but it will provide a little bit of illumination for the immediate area around the tool, and this will be handy in case of an emergency. It also has a flashing function if you press the LED power button again, and then if you want to turn off the light, then you press it a 3rd time to turn it off. So it's a cycle through selector switch. Overall, there really is nothing super special about this light. It is a nice feature. I'm glad they included it. The placement is horrible, and they really should have thought a little bit more about where they were placing it. It probably would have been more helpful to have it on the side of the tool or on the back of the tool. I don't know. Where they put it is just kind of a stupid spot. But I am glad they included an LED light, so it gets a pass. And next up, we have the USB charging ports. Now, the USB charging ports are meant for charging up devices like mobile phones, tablets, computers, fans. You get the idea, just small USB devices. There is a single A-style port which is capable of charging at 5, 9, or 12 volts DC current up to 3 amps. And then there is a Type-C USB port which is capable of charging at 5, 9, 12, or 20 volt at 2 amps. So overall, there are some decent charging options on this particular tool power converter. I will say that I personally would have liked to have seen maybe an additional A-style port, but I am glad that we got a USB-C style port simply because that's the way that the ports will pretty much all be in the future. So I am happy with the charging ports on this device, and they seem to do a good job. There is no pass-through power, so you will have to power on the device, which is a little bit of a bummer, but not really the end of the world. So the USB charging ports get a pass. Okay, last but not least, we have the AC outlet. Now, the AC outlet is rated up to 300 watts, and it is a pure sine wave outlet, meaning that you'll be able to maximize the performance of the battery, and it will be perfectly compatible with your more sensitive electronics. Overall, this has been great for running everything from desk lamps to shop lights to laptop computers and the occasional blower fan or box fan. I've even used it to charge 18-volt Ryobi batteries as well as run an incubator during a power outage. So this has been very handy, and it's definitely saved some chicken lives. So at the end of the day, I'm perfectly satisfied with the overall performance coming out of this particular tool, and it's very useful if you have multiple 40-volt batteries. If you only have 1 or 2 40-volt batteries, it probably won't be worth it, but if you have 4 or more, I definitely think this is worth adding to your collection, especially if you live somewhere where the power isn't always reliable. So this also gets a pass. Okay, this device has a rubber pad on the bottom for when it's in the vertical position, as well as a rubber pad on the back of it for when it's in the horizontal position. Overall, this is definitely a nice feature to have for if you're transporting this, say, on board a boat or inside a car or in an RV that might be moving, and I am glad that Ryobi decided to give you 2 different options for its positioning, because that really does come in handy. So this is also a nice feature of the tool. Without a battery, the device weighs 747 grams, which is a little over 1.5 pounds. And with a 4 amp hour 40-volt battery, it weighs 2,058 grams, which is a little over 4.5 pounds. Okay, let's go over the pros and cons real quick. And the first con is pure sine wave. Yeah, I know I accidentally wrote power. I made a mistake. My bad. But it's supposed to be pure, and pure means that it's going to be more compatible with your sensitive electronics as well as maximizing your battery life. So this is a good thing, and in my opinion, a definite pro. The 18-volt power inverter for their batteries is a modified sine wave, and you can really tell that you're not getting your maximum amount of power out of your 18-volt batteries. So this is definitely a welcome improvement for their 40-volt batteries. And next up, 300 watts. 300 watts is definitely a major improvement over their 18-volt version, which is only 150 watts. This will definitely help for powering your more powerful fans or laptop computers for short periods of time. LED light. Yeah, the LED light isn't all that powerful, and it's located on in a bad spot, but at least they include an LED light, and the LED light can come in handy for an emergency situation where you need to supply a little bit of light for the immediate area. So overall, I am glad that they included a light on this particular tool. Handle. Overall, the handle isn't really anything to write home about, but I am glad they included it, because I could see Ryobi not including something like that just because of, well, Ryobi. So this is a pro in my opinion. USB-C and USB-A. Now, I am glad that they decided to give you both these ports. I kind of wish I would have given you 2 A ports and 1 C port, but I am glad they decided to give you a C port, because that will help future-proof this product a little bit. So this is a pro in my opinion. And the first meh is cheap filling buttons. The buttons on this device don't have any sort of a rubberized texture to them, and they just feel very plasticky. It's not really that big of a deal. It's more of a personal preference sort of thing, and I really think for the price that you're paying for this device, they could have given you premium buttons. But at the end of the day, it's not that big of a deal, so that's why it's on the meh list. And the first con is loose battery slot. Overall, the battery slot is very loose. While the battery isn't going to fall out, I really think Ryobi should have spent a little bit more time designing the battery slot, and considering the price, this is definitely something that they should have done. It doesn't really fit with the price tag, and at the end of the day, this is why it's on the con list. The price went way up. Last year, the price on these were about $90. This year, the price is $120. If you really are looking for one of these, I'd recommend waiting for there to be a sale over on Tool Direct's website and then buying one then. Just keep in mind that Tool Direct's website, their sales don't always come up all that often, and you're still going to have to pay shipping, and they have very slow shipping, up to a month in wait time. So that's just something to keep in mind. And last but not least, we have bad LED placement. The LED placement on this particular tool is incredibly bad. I am glad they included an LED, but they really did put it in about the worst possible spot. The only spot that probably would have been worse is on the bottom of the tool. So at the end of the day, I am glad they included the LED light, but maybe spend a little bit more time at the design desk, Ryobi. And that is it for the pros and cons. Final thoughts on this 40-volt inverter power source. Overall, I really do like having this particular tool. I actually have 2 of these, and they've come in handy in emergencies for running egg incubators, as well as lights and laptop computers, as well as routers. So quite frankly, I am perfectly satisfied with just the overall performance of the tool. The price, not so much. I really would recommend waiting for there to be a sale over at Tool Direct's website, and I think that's going to be your best option for getting one of these on the cheaper side. You can usually pick one up for right around $60 plus shipping, and as long as you're making it a larger order, it really isn't going to affect you all that much when you start thinking about the shipping. Yes, it would be nice to have free shipping, but we just don't really live in that world anymore, apparently, thanks to inflation. So, would I recommend this particular tool? Yes, yes, I would recommend this particular tool as long as you don't mind the price and you have multiple 40-volt batteries where this would actually be useful. As long as you meet that criteria, this tool comes recommended. And that is it for this particular video. I just wanted to give everybody a heads up that I'm working on a lot of different projects that are non-video related this summer, and so I might not be getting a video out each week. If I miss a week, I'm super sorry, and I'll miss all you guys. Well, probably not. I'll probably be too busy pulling my hair out over whatever project I'm working on to actually think of you guys, but just FYI. If I don't have a video one week, hopefully there will be one the following week, unless it's a massive project, then that might be a week or two after that. So just as a heads up. Hopefully everything will get back to normal as we start fall, if we're all still alive in fall. With the world the way it is today, well, who knows. But if you like this video, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. God bless.